my name is Gabby and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here then welcome to my channel, and today's video is going to be my September reading wrap-up. September, yes, the month that I forgot to post my wrap-up for in a timely manner. So yeah, doing that now, and then we'll do October in the next video. Before September, I have 6 manga volumes, a book, 2 audiobooks, a light novel, and then also some manga chapters that we're going to be talking about today. I will have the content warnings I can find linked down below in the description along with links to some resources, and let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off with an extra chapter and then chapter 5 of Oblivion Battery by Echo Mikawa. And this follows a star pitcher and catcher duo who were an unstoppable force together during their middle school baseball careers. They have crushed the dreams of many, including Taro Yamada, who has since quit baseball and has now enrolled in a high school where there is no baseball team in sight. That is until he discovers that his 2 new classmates are that unstoppable duo, and finds out the catcher has lost his memory and now has no interest in the sport. There's really not much to say here. It was an extra chapter and then one singular chapter. I really like this series, but I will say I read this in a public setting. Some of the humor made me embarrassed to be reading it, not just in a public setting, but just in general. So there is that, but I'll probably read more of it eventually. I still like this. Next up, we have volumes 1 through 3 of Opposites Attract by Hono Natsuna. This follows 2 main characters who are opposites from their dogs, as Shiharu is bold and petite, while her Rottweiler is more of a scaredy cat, and Kiyotaka is sturdy yet shy, while his Pomeranian is very outgoing. These 2 meet while on a walk with their dogs one day, and after many more encounters, their feelings for each other start to change. I can't believe how far away these volumes already feel from me when it's only been a couple of months. I went into this series thinking that it was going to be cute and wholesome. It's definitely that. The dogs are adorable, I'm liking the romance more and more by the volume, and they're introducing characters that I really like as well, and just expanding the story and the world in a way that I really like. It's been such a simple but relaxing series so far, and I wish I had more of it to read right now, but I don't. Next up, we have my first audiobook of September, and that was You Started It by Jackie Kalilia, and this follows our main character who has made a list of big plans for her and her boyfriend's senior year. However, when he returns from a summer away wanting to break up and with a new girlfriend, her next plan is to get him back, even if that involves fake dating the TikTok dancer whose bike she accidentally ran over with her car, which is an accident that leads them to spending a lot of time together, and it's this time together that leads them to start to understand each other more. So I read this because I read something more by this author and I liked it, and this is her new one, and the cover looked cute, the premise sounded cute, and cute is one of the words that I would use to describe this book. Messy is the other word that I would use to describe this book. Like, there is drama, and I got really invested in all of it, and the romance drama and also just the family storylines as well. There's also naturally some character growth here as well, but I'm not really sure if it ever worked for me in the way that I wanted it to. Our main character can be very frustrating at times, and again, messy. And after listening to something more, I did kind of expect those things to be present here and to be the case for the characters in the story. But I don't know, it didn't make it any less rough to read at times. But when it wasn't rough, it was really fun, and like I said, I got really invested. There were also some really cute moments. I don't know, I just kind of have a soft spot for it and for the characters. Like, I was rooting for them no matter how annoyed I was with them. And I ended up giving You Started It by Jackie Kalilia 4 out of 5 stars. Next up is my second audiobook from September, and that was Werewolves Don't Die by Anton Troyer. And this follows our main character who hates living in Northwest Minneapolis, and this includes the local bully who he gets into a fight with defending his best friend. However, when this bully's house burns down in the middle of the night, our main character's family ends up sending him away to run the trap lines with his grandfather in a remote part of Canada during the investigation, as our main character is the prime suspect in the case. It has been a while since I have read a thriller, at least I think that statement is true. It definitely felt true at the time that I picked up this audiobook, and thriller is what this is labeled as on Storygraph, but it felt much more slice of life to me, and I actually really liked that because I like the relationship between our main character and his grandfather, and I just like the relationships in this book in general. And it was also really informative as well, as our main character is partaking in a lot of Ojibwe customs and also like the trap lines, and that also just ties back in with just how slice of life this felt for a majority of it. But it also does have thriller elements as well, and I felt like this book was building up to something, which made me excited to keep listening to it because I wanted to know what it was. But the build-up never really went where I thought it was going to based on all of the build-up at the beginning of the book, which is fine in a way. Like, I don't hate the ending, but it just made the thriller elements not feel as strong as they really could have because it just didn't really work for me, and then also just kind of fell flat, and kind of like the beginning of that book was just not there anymore. And then I also didn't super love our main character here either, and I ended up giving Werewolves Don't Die by Anton Troyer 3.5 out of 5 stars. Next up, we have volumes 4, 5, and 6 of The Moon on a Rainy Night by Kuzushiro. And The Moon on a Rainy Night follows our main character who has a chance encounter with one of her classmates whose music dreams were complicated when an accident almost completely took her hearing. And although this girl tends to push people away with her icy demeanor, through one kind gesture, our main character is able to begin slowly breaking down her walls. This was the other manga series that I caught up to in September, and I really love this one a lot, which is something that I've known since volume 1, so I wasn't shocked to feel that way at the end of these 3 volumes. I really love both of our main characters here, individually, but also definitely together. And I talked about this in my full manga review of this series, but these two just have so much chemistry together, and the series has some of like the best flirting and just like shippable moments that I have ever seen. I also really love the character growth, again, with how they're growing individually, but also how they're growing together. Like, they help each other grow, and I feel like we really got to see them work as a team in these volumes. We also got to know some other characters and relationships and backstories, and that was all really interesting and at times complex. I'm also enjoying the focus on music within the storyline as well, and it just really feels like everyone and everything is really coming to life. And there were some really exciting and amazing moments within these volumes, volume 6 in particular, and this is just one of my favorite series that I'm currently reading right now for sure. Again, I wish I had more of it, but I don't. Next up, we have the first light novel of The Summer Hikaru Died by Miyu Nukaga. And this follows 2 boys who live in a village. They do everything together, they're best friends, until something happens to Hikaru that changes him forever when all his friend wants him to do is stay by his side. Okay, so this is basically just the beginning of the series in novel form, and this was my 3rd time experiencing the beginning of this series, and I did read this while I was watching the anime because the anime was still airing at the time. So this was kind of like more than a recap for me, but it didn't feel like that at all. Like, I didn't feel the fatigue that I feel like I would normally feel with other series and have felt with other series when I've done similar things. It still felt fresh to me, and I was really excited to see the series get adapted in this way, and I was excited to read some of my favorite scenes in this format. And I specifically feel like the horror really stood out to me here. Like, something about the writing style just really enhanced it, and like the atmosphere and setting too, which those are all things that the manga and anime are really good at as well, but it really worked for me with the light novel in a different way than usual. Like, again, it felt fresh and like a new fun way of experiencing something that I already really love. And of course, I was emotionally invested in the characters and the relationships. I was just as into the story as I've always have been. And I also do feel like I went into this light novel kind of hoping that this would expand on like the characters' thoughts and feelings a little bit more and just like show the insides of their heads in a different way. And I do feel like I got a little bit of that, and I just really like the way that this added to and contributed to the way that my brain already engages with and thinks about this series. And it's The Summer Hikaru Died, so I gave it 5 stars. And it's probably going to do really well when I rank all of my 5-star reads at the end of the year. Like, really, really well. And next up, we have Fat Chance Charlie Vega by Crystal Maldonado. And this is a coming-of-age story that follows our main character Charlie, who wants to have a good relationship with her body. However, it's hard for her when the entire world and also her mother have ideas and opinions on what she should look like. When she starts dating her classmate, everything seems perfect until she finds out that he actually asked out her best friend first, and she begins to wonder if he really sees her at all. I read this for the coming of age themes, and I do think that it really delivered on them. It felt very YA at times in a way that I, again, really enjoyed, especially when it paired with the coming of age themes. But it also felt YA in ways that I didn't love, and kind of like you started it, some of the drama and the behaviors were just frustrating. But again, and this is the case for both of these books, they're teenagers. I get it. Again, it doesn't make it any less rough to read at times, but I do get it. And for this book specifically, I also didn't really like a lot of the dialogue and banter between the characters or the flirting. I don't know, it just didn't really work for me. Like, it didn't feel realistic, which it doesn't necessarily have to, but it did really feel off to me. Like, me and the writing style were definitely not always gelling here when it comes to the banter or flirting or just speaking. But despite that, I did still think the romance was cute because it felt wholesome and happy, and I liked that. I didn't like the main drama towards the end of the book though, and that did sour me on the relationship and also just the book as a whole. But it had its cute moments. I liked the characters even when they were being messy and just like stumbling along. And I also liked reading our main character explore and hone her body positive mindset. And I ended up giving Fat Chance Charlie Vega by Crystal Maldonado 3.75 out of 5 stars. So as for the rest of the manga, September was a really busy month for me, and I fell behind on a lot of the series that I normally wouldn't. So now I have quite a few series that I am many chapters behind on, which doesn't feel great. There's a reason why I try to stay caught up to these series as they're ongoing, watching, because sometimes when I fall behind forever. That's how series get lost here, and I don't want to lose these series. But that is a problem for present day me. Back in September, me did make sure to prioritize the K-manga series when I realized this was happening, because K-manga runs on like a ticket and point system where the tickets expire and the points are a little bit harder to get and especially hard to save up on. Basically, my reading life is just better and easier if I stay as caught up to as I can without using my points on K-manga with these series. So I read chapters 162 to 164 of The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, chapters 145 to 148 of Gachiakuda, chapters 190 to 193 of Windbreaker, and over on Shonen Jump I read chapters 210 to 213 of Blue Box, and chapters 37.1 and 38 of Ruri Dragon. Okay, so that is all that I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and answer the question that'll be around here if you want to do that, and hopefully I will see you here next time. Bye!